Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into our absolute most irreplaceable resource, time. Now, we all nod along when people say, oh, time is precious, right? But through a really insightful story from our source material today, we are going to challenge that basic assumption and totally shift what it means to truly value our hours.
It's kind of a gut punch of a question, isn't it? If we truly, deeply understood the value of time, would we still waste hours just endlessly scrolling through our phones? Would we still postpone those important tasks, or casually tell ourselves, you know what, I'll just start tomorrow? Because those little delays, they suggest we don't actually comprehend what we're spending. Just think about the things we can actually get back in life. Wealth, a lost job, a failed business. Sure, it's hard, but they can all be rebuilt. But on the flip side, what is gone forever? A single moment. The really uncomfortable truth here is that time is literally the only thing in life that once lost can never be earned back. And honestly, most of us don't realize this until it's just too late.
To really hammer this home, the source provides this incredible, powerful narrative about a hardworking father and his completely aimless son. See, the father worked relentlessly, waking up before dawn to tend his shop. His son, though, he'd wake up late, wander around with his friends, and just lounge at tea stalls. He lived his life as if there was, plenty of time and life was just going to wait for him forever. The father tried advising him, warning him over and over, but eventually he just fell silent. He realized a profound truth. Advice enters the ears, sure, but wisdom only enters when the heart is actually ready.
So, tired of giving these ignored lectures, the dad tries something entirely different. One evening, he goes to this old cupboard and pulls out a gift. It's an old, working wooden watch, carefully wrapped in a soft cloth. Its hands are moving steadily and quietly. He hands this super unexpected object to his son the next morning, which completely sets the stage for a very unique lesson.
The father gives the boy what seems like a really simple task. Take the watch to the bustling market and just ask people what price they'd give for it. And the boy gets quite a range of offers. First up, a cloth merchant offers him 500 rupees. Next, a grocery seller takes a look, examines it, and offers 800. Finally, a utensil vendor says, yeah, he'd give about 1,000 rupees for it. So the boy heads home, fully expecting his dad to explain why the offers varied so wildly.
But, surprise, no explanation comes. Instead, the very next day, the father hands the watch right back to him with a completely new instruction. He tells his son to go back out to the market and ask people not the price of the physical watch, but the price of the time inside it. I mean, it sounds like a completely absurd quest, right? But the boy does as he is told.
So, the boy goes back to the cloth merchant and asks this strange new question, and the man just bursts out laughing. He literally says, "The price of time? What nonsense. Are you trying to be funny?" You can almost feel the empathetic embarrassment right along with the kid as this loud laughter rings out in the middle of a crowded market.
And it honestly just goes downhill from there. The sequence of rejections only gets worse. He moves on to a woman at the next shop, and she waves him off, clearly annoyed. Go home, boy. Stop wasting people's time with silly questions. Notice the irony there? For the first time in his life, the boy is actually feeling the sting of shame creeping up his face. The very thing he has wasted so casually, time, is exactly what he is now being scolded for wasting.
And then, bam, here is the final crushing rejection. Another man just shakes his head, totally dismisses him, and says, "You cannot put a price on time. Now leave me alone." At this point, the boy feels completely foolish. His steps are slowing down. He's been carrying around this bizarre question he doesn't even understand himself, getting nothing but laughter and confusion from everyone. He's utterly defeated and honestly totally ready to just give up and go home. But right before he turns back, he notices a completely different environment. It's a quiet little repair shop tucked away in the corner of the market, filled with hundreds of tiny, ticking clocks. It is a massive contrast to the loud, chaotic noise of the market outside. Behind the counter sits this silver-haired watchmaker with kind eyes, just working away with steady hands. The boy decides, you know what? I'm going to ask my question one last time.
The old man stops his work, and he doesn't laugh. He doesn't brush him off. Instead, he looks at the boy with this deep understanding and delivers a profound realization. He says, the watch can have a price, but the time inside it, that has no price. The old man tells him he has actually asked the most important question anyone could ever ask, because time simply cannot be bought.
And this brings us to an absolutely crucial point. It comes down to this massive contrast. When we're talking about tangible wealth,
Losses can usually be recovered. Think about it. If a rich man loses money, he earns it again. If a farmer loses his crops, he replants them. Even a burnt-down shop can be rebuilt from the ground up. But with intangible wealth, if one single hour of your life passes by, no one can buy it back, not even 1 second. That is exactly why time is our greatest treasure. It is entirely 100% free, yet it's completely priceless.
The old watchmaker then breaks down what our source refers to as the dual nature of time. The harsh reality of it is that it never stops moving, and it certainly does not wait for anyone. But the empowering news here? You still choose what to do with it. Its relentless ticking is simultaneously its absolute worst and its absolute best quality.
Which brings us to the ultimate equalizer. 24. Every single person on this planet, rich or poor, young or old, receives exactly this many hours each day. No more, no less. You can't negotiate for a 25th hour, and you definitely won't be shortchanged with 23. We all wake up and start with the exact same daily balance. So that leads us to a pretty pivotal comparison. If we all have 24 hours, what actually separates us? As the source clarifies, the difference between success and failure isn't just raw talent or blind luck. It is exclusively about how those hours are spent. One person is using their time for building a future, while someone else is quite literally throwing it away. And that realization, it hits the boy in our story right in the heart. The boy lowers his eyes and whispers to the watchmaker, "I understand now." But as we all know, just understanding isn't enough, is it? The watchmaker replies, "Then do not just understand, change." This is the exact moment where passive realization is forced to become active discipline. You can't just walk around knowing time is valuable. Your daily actions actually have to prove it. Now, the boy didn't go out and change the world overnight, but he did change his habits. He woke earlier, he helped out at home, he worked with real care, and he finally stopped roaming aimlessly around town. Through these really small daily changes, he found peace and pride in honest effort. He started respecting his hours, and because of that, his life finally began to take a meaningful shape. The source narrative shifts right here to give us a pretty stark, direct warning about our own lives. Lost time rarely shouts, it disappears quietly. This is the hidden danger of saying things like, "Oh, I'm still young," or "I'll start tomorrow." Because those little delays, they become habits. And those habits quietly shape a totally directionless life. It doesn't happen with some loud, dramatic explosion. It just slips away, silently, day after day. So, I want to turn this directly over to you. Honestly, think about it right now. How many hours this past week added absolutely nothing to your growth, your peace, or your future? How many times did you say, I'll do it later, only to let another full day slip away quietly? It's a pretty sobering thought when you actually stop to measure it, isn't it? This brings us right back to why the father in the story was so incredibly brilliant. Real change happens through our own realization, not through someone else's words. He knew he couldn't just force wisdom into his son through endless lectures. Instead, he let him face the laughter of the market and arrive at the truth completely independently. That silent lesson was 1,000 times more effective than any scolding could ever be.
So what's the game plan? How do we actually apply this? The source material urges us to stop waiting for that magical, perfect moment and just start now. Start small. Wake up just a little earlier tomorrow. Cut out one single distraction today. Pick up that book you've been meaning to read for months. Start that project. Have that difficult conversation. Listen, every single hour you invest in yourself today is actively building the person you are going to be tomorrow.
And this beautifully summarizes the core thesis of today's explainer. You can replace almost everything in life. You can buy new things, you can find new jobs, you can make more money, but you can never, ever replace a single moment that has already passed. Time is hands down the most valuable thing you will ever own, and to respect it is, quite literally, to respect your own life. I'm gonna leave you with one final provocative question. What is one thing you have been putting off that you will start today? Not tomorrow, today. Make a promise to yourself right now before you close out of this explainer. Claim your time back, spend it wisely, and just take that very first step. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.